Welcome to this deep lunge triangle flow sequence. The first part of the sequence will prepare the body for the triangles, and then there will be a sequence in which the deep lunge triangles flow one into the other, first to the right side, then to the left side. Coming onto the mat to begin with, and allowing the back and the spine to relax as much as possible with the knees bent and the soles of the feet resting in contact with the mat. Letting the breath relax, the exhalation lengthen. Gradually moving into a full body stretch with both legs extended and the arms moving up and back and behind in line with the head. Exhaling to hug the right thigh in towards the abdomen with both hands. Breathing in to slide the leg away and to reach back into the arms, stretching the spine. Exhalation to bring the left leg in, hugging it in. Once again, breathing in, full body stretch. Feeling the spine lengthen in the center towards the heels. Exhalation, right thigh flows in. Breathing in, sliding the right leg away, stretching into the arms. Once again, exhalation, the left thigh flows in, hugging it in with both hands. Breathing in, sliding the leg away, arms stretching back. Using the full body stretch to really deepen the inhalation. Using hugging the thigh into the abdomen to really extend the exhalation. Remembering to allow the neck to stay long and release the chin tucking towards the top of the breastbone, both on the inhalation phase and the exhalation phase. Especially on the exhalation, allowing the back of the spine through the trunk to relax into the mat as much as possible. With the inhalations in the full body stretch Yastikasana, tucking the tailbone under so there's lots of stretch towards the heels. Spending a moment to relax in Shavasana. Once again, allowing the knees to bend and the soles of the feet to rest in contact with the mat, preparing for Dvipadapitam, the two-legged temple or the bridge pose. Allowing the lower abdomen to engage down and back, the navel draw to the spine, feeling that there's lots of space through the spine between the tailbone and the crown of the head. With an exhalation, peeling the spine away from the mat, vertebra by vertebra. On an inhalation, allowing the arms to sweep up and back so that they come alongside the head, keeping the navel pulling to the spine. Exhalation to roll down through the spine, leaving the arms behind. Breathing in with the arms still alongside the head. Exhalation to return the arms to the sides. Breathing in to prepare. Once again, engaging in the lower abdomen, navel pulls to the spine, peeling the spine away from the mat. Inhalation to sweep the arms up and back, really pull the breath into the chest. Exhalation to roll the spine back to the mat, vertebra by vertebra. Breathing in to lengthen again into the arms, and exhalation to bring the arms back to the sides. Inhaling to prepare, exhaling to lengthen the spine towards the tailbone as it peels away from the mat. With the inhalation, keeping the navel pulling to the spine, arms sweep back, breath lifts into the front of the chest. Exhalation to roll the spine back into the mat, lengthening from the crown of the head through the back of the ribs into the waist, sacrum, tailbone. Inhalation here, exhalation to let go. Allowing the Dvipadapitam to flow on through. With each repetition, allowing the spine to become more fluid, allowing the breath to become more integrated with the actions of the body. And finally, allowing the arms to relax by the sides, allowing the spine to soften, and the breath to again draw back to an easy length and speed. I'm going to begin to stretch and lengthen a little bit more through the backs of the legs now in Supta Prasarippadasana, with the inhalations allowing the spine to stretch in the center of the practice, the legs to lengthen upwards away from the hip joints, and the arms to again reach backwards. Remembering to allow the whole body to be integrated in this practice, feeling on the inhalation that the spine can lengthen, and once the spine is long, letting the legs extend away and the arms move back. And sometimes the strong action of the arms and the legs can disturb the spine, cause it to arch or lift away from the mat. Allowing the spine to be really here, the center of the posture. Inhalation to open the body, exhalation to fold the arms and the legs back in again and relax the back into the mat. Moving now from the flowing practice of Supta Prasarippadasana into a held practice, the same shape, although this time with support around the soles of the feet, a yoga strap, a resistance band, or even a scarf that reaches around the soles of the feet. Both legs lengthen up and away from the hips, aiming to keep the pelvis firmly grounded into the mat and the tailbone anchored to the floor. Allowing the spine itself to remain really long, the spine relaxed, the shoulders relaxed, neck and throat relaxed. In these rather strong hamstring opening positions where both legs are extended, often we need to keep the posture moving a little bit to reduce tension. With the inhalation, the knees can bend, seeing if it's possible to relax and soften around the hip joints, especially on the inside of the depth of the hip joint. And then again with the exhalations, feeling the hips sink into the mat, the spine relax into the mat, and the legs gently extending away again. And if at any point the legs begin to become too heavy in this practice, allowing them to take a rest, folding them right into the abdomen, spending a few moments to relax there. Keep checking in with the neck and allowing it to stay easy. And again, with an exhalation, gently relaxing away from this practice. Feet returning to the mat, legs sliding away, arms rolling outwards. Legs and arms relaxing, flopping in and out 2 or 3 times, spending a moment to settle in Shavasana. Rolling around onto the side, we're going to come through towards the all fours and moving into a practice known as Kakravakasana. In the Kakravakasana, the sitting bones and the tailbone stretch right back as the rest of the spine lengthens forwards towards the crown of the head. And then the body draws forwards again towards the all fours position. On the exhalations, really allowing the spine to lengthen from the crown back towards the tailbone. And on the inhalations, as you come back into the all fours, allow the spine to lengthen from the tailbone into the crown. These practices are very much about the journey of the spine. This is a relatively straightforward journey of the spine as it lengthens from the crown to the tailbone, from the tailbone to the crown. Still all the same, the body will need to work with releasing to facilitate the journey of the spine here, and also a certain amount of strength to help guide and carry the spine here. Just observing how the body needs to work with strength and with softness to facilitate the journey of the spine and the lengthening of the spine. At last, settling back into the hips to heels position, Shashankasana, spending a few moments to allow the spine to lengthen through its own weight into the weight of the head. Now we're going to dive forward along the length of the mat through Nakrasana, the crocodile, keeping the abdominal muscles strong, lengthening through the fronts of the hip joints, and then bringing the arms alongside the rib cage, ready to lengthen the spine forwards towards the crown of the head, and gradually, as the spine keeps lengthening forwards, coming upwards into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Breathing here, letting the navel pull to the spine and the breath move forward in the chest. Aim to keep the front of the spine really long, the back of the spine free. Exhalation, rolling back down onto the mat. This time we're going to send the arms back and behind us, pointing the fingertips towards the toes, really stretching back into the arms as we lengthen the spine forwards and upwards in the opposite direction, really allowing the back muscles to do the work here. The counter stretch back into the arms helps us to release space and length through the spine. Once again, the front of the spine really opening, the back of the spine not open, but equally not too shut down, not too closed. Exhalation to roll back down through the spine, lengthening towards the crown of the head. And once again, bringing the forearms through to either side of the rib cage, elbows behind the shoulder joints, deep lift in the lower abdomen, navel pulling to the spine, and breathing in to move forwards again through the spine. And gradually, as the spine lengthens, the back muscles take up and lift the body into the cobra. Breathing here, breath in the chest. Most of the work in the back muscles. Can always test that by bringing the arms out for a moment. Exhalation to roll down segment by segment through the spine, spending a moment to relax, head turning towards one side and resting on the arms, letting the exhalation lengthen, heels rolling out behind you, lower back softening. And then once again, pressing back towards the all fours, engaging the abdominal muscles, and as you're ready, reaching back through the right leg, coming onto the ball of that foot, pressing into the heel as you keep lengthening the trunk of the body forwards, aiming to, through the counter stretch into the heel and forwards through the trunk, to feel the muscles over the front of the hip joint opening a little here. Changing sides, tucking the toes under on the left side, abdominal muscles nice and strong, pushing into the left heel, lengthening the trunk forward, aiming to feel opening over the front of the left hip. Breathing. And again, gently on an exhalation, relaxing this position and allowing the hips to move back and towards the heels, stretching the spine, relaxing again for a moment, back softening into the weight of the head. Going to unfurl from the Shashankasana into Uttanasana, standing forward bend, allowing the feet to remain about 2 fist distance apart, keeping the abdominal muscles lifted very firmly, lower abdomen, navel pulling to the spine. Once again, we're opening the hamstrings, but this time the hamstrings are weight bearing. So spending a few moments to allow them to get used to lengthening in this position. Letting the soles of the feet be relaxed on the mat. On the inhalations, allowing the knees to bend gently. Let the spine lengthen forwards from the tailbone to the crown into the weight of the head. And with the exhalations, powerful lift in the lower abdomen and lengthening upwards from the heels, through the calves, through the backs of the knees, into the backs of the thighs and on towards the sitting bones. Little by little, aiming to feel at that pivot point around the hip joints, that the spine is able to lengthen forwards and the stretch from the heels is able to arrive at the tops of the backs of the thighs. On an inhalation, rolling up through the spine, segment by segment. Coming into the dynamic section of the sequence now, taking up a position at the other end of the mat and aligning the body. With an exhalation, rolling down through the spine and then walking the hands along the length of the mat, preparing for downward facing dog. Breathing in to let the knees bend and to bring the thighs against the abdomen as the spine unfolds from the crown to the tailbone. Deep lift in the lower abdomen, navel pulling to the spine and letting the heels sink into the mat. Breathing here. Letting the spine relax and lengthen, supported by the abdominal strength and the muscles of the arms and the legs. In a moment, on an inhalation, the right leg is going to stride forward to between the hands, Coming into the Trikonasana position, angling the left foot behind, lifting up through the thigh muscles on both legs, lengthening the spine out of the hips, reaching the left arm alongside the ear, then using the back muscles to spiral the spine into a twist, opening the heart center, lifting the left side of the trunk towards the sky, lengthening between the hands, breathing. Beautiful Trikonasana position. On an exhalation, letting the left arm come into the back of the waist and to hold on to the top of the right thigh. Breathing, continuing to open the spine out of the strength of the hips and the legs, opening the heart center. On an exhalation, lunging into the front leg, letting the right knee come above the right ankle, unfurling through the spine, breathing in to reach up and back, using the back muscles to support the position. Keep lengthening up into the right arm to open the side of the body, breathing deeply. Lots of strength through the back leg, inner thigh lengthening, arch of the foot opening. On an exhalation, lengthening the trunk along the line of the right leg, spiraling the spine again, and opening and lifting the left arm to the sky. Exhalation to create a long line through space from the left heel all the way through to the left fingertips. Tucking the tailbone under, lengthening the spine, looking towards the upper hand if that's comfortable, and on an exhalation, untwisting, lunging again into the right leg, stretching back into the left heel, spine long, and twisting towards the left leg, breathing, Parivriti, Parsvakonasana. On an exhalation, untwisting, breathing in and breathing out, stepping back, downward facing dog. A moment to prepare, strength through the abdomen, strength through the legs, openness through the front of the body, and on an exhalation, coming down into the plank, pulling up through the thighs, front and back, and the gluteal muscles, lowering towards a low plank, and breathing in to lift through the upper body. Exhalation, downward facing dog again. Breathing. Now beginning to flow through to the left side, striding the left foot through to between the hands, coming into triangle again. Strength drawing up through the thighs, lengthening the spine out of the hips. Right arm comes alongside the ear, and then using the back strength to twist the spine into Trikonasana. Opening the heart center between the reach into both hands. Keeping the left sitting bone reaching back so that the left waist stays really long. Breathing. Keep drawing the strength up through the thigh muscles, and on an exhalation, letting the right hand come into the back of the waist, holding on to the left thigh. Breathing, chest open. On an exhalation, lunging into the front leg, keep lengthening through the inside thigh of the back leg, breathing in to unfold through the spine and to reach up, and just a little bit back, keeping your back muscles supporting the spine from beneath. Reaching into the left arm and really breathing. On an exhalation, the left side of the body coming along the line of the left thigh, left arm coming through to the mat, and the right arm reaching up. Using the back muscles to maintain a spiral through the spine here. And on an exhalation, letting the right arm come alongside the ear, long line through space, right heel to right fingertips. Looking towards the right hand. On an exhalation, untwisting, reaching forwards with the right arm, stretching into the back heel, lengthening the spine in between the head and the heel, spiraling towards the front leg. Exhalation, Parivriti Parsvakonasana. Keep the stretch really working into that back heel to keep the spine very long, and breathing. Exhalation to unspiral. And to step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, preparing for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Lots of length through the spine, supporting the length through the spine as you pass down through towards the plank, lowering the plank, keep pushing back into the heels as you lengthen the spine forwards and lift the upper back through. Exhalation, downward facing dog. Breathing here, allowing the spine to relax in the downward dog. Breathing in. We're going to jump forwards to bring the feet to either side of the hands. letting the toes turn outwards, keeping the knees tracking the middle of the toes, sinking the sitting bones and lifting the spine up. Hands can come to prayer pose and the elbows press into the knees. Malasana, the garland pose. If it's not comfortable to be in such a deep squat, support the heels with blocks or cushions. And then on an exhalation, we're going to bring the sitting bones onto the mat, letting the soles of the feet come together and the knees move outwards. Taking up a long Baddha Konasana here with the heels quite distant from the sitting bones. Allowing the spine to open forwards in a long line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Letting the tailbone reach back a little bit. Deep lift in the lower abdomen so that it's possible to free the front of the spine from the base of the spine outwards towards the crown of the head. Allowing the inner thighs to relax as much as possible. And in this long version of Baddha Konasana, the opening will be quite pronounced as well through the back of the hips and the outsides of the thighs, as well as through the inner thighs. Letting the breath billow into the back of the chest. And then on an inhalation, rolling up through the spine. Going to roll down now through the spine and coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. The back on the mat, the knees bent, heels as close to the sitting bones as is comfortable, and on an exhalation, relaxing across the hips, into the hip joints and into the inner thighs as the legs move outwards. Spending a few moments here to allow the body to relax. In the Supta Baddha Konasana, being aware of the weight of the body as it rests on the earth, the weight passing through the head, through the shoulders, through the rib cage, the heaviness of the hips as they rest on the mat, the weight of the feet on the mat. Allowing the body to be completely relaxed and feeling how the breath moves in and out of the stillness and quietness of the body. Being aware of the quality of the energy of the breath here in the Supta Baddha Konasana, the extent and the fullness of the inhalation, and the ease that passes through the body on the exhalations. Just spending a few moments in a quiet space. Gently allowing the legs to come back in towards the center and lengthening them away along the mat, knees and the toes rolling outwards, arms still rolling outwards away from the sides. A few moments in Shavasana. Simply breathing and being. And gently on an inhalation, reaching a stretch all through the length of the body, reaching up into the arms, down into the legs, hugging the legs in towards the body and circling the hips on the mat 2 or 3 times. Letting the senses move outwards again, sense of sight moving outwards, sense of hearing moving into the wider distance. And then rolling onto the side and rolling up through the spine, coming into a comfortable seated position. And here, feeling length through the spine from the tailbone to the crown, breathing in to circle the arms up and above the head, exhaling to pass the hands through towards Namaste, breathing in to reach the arms upwards again, and exhaling to bring them back down towards the sides. Breathing in again to flow the arms upwards, to look towards the fingertips, feel the spine lengthening, exhaling to Namaste, breathing in again, opening upwards through the arms and through the spine, and on an exhalation returning the arms to the sides. Flowing once more, just allowing the body to come back into activity in this gentle, fluid way. Om Shanti Namaste. Thank you for watching and following this creative flow sequence practice. I hope that you've enjoyed it and hope to see you again soon on this channel.